Welcome back, guys, to part three. I should probably have made this in one video and just chopped it up, but I can merge them later, I guess. But I when I think about what humans can become if we're not driven by survival, but driven by a common goal of advancing our society, what we can become, and it's pretty spectacular. But we have to get over making decisions based on the best interest of ourselves and and at the detriment of others. And we need to start making decisions in the best interest of ourselves collectively and humanity, because a, we're informed, and b, we're bypassing those negative biases. I think that's the way forward to solve a lot of the problems that we're facing today, because it seems that a lot of problems that we're facing are self-inflicted, and we've seemed to lost this this view where we live out that all men are equal. Because we say that, we will even talk about that in church. We're all God's creatures. We're all made in the image of God. But then we get out there on the streets, and all of a sudden, it's like, you're my enemy. And you know, we we judge each other on what's deserving, what's not being deserved by others. We don't want to contribute. We don't want to give, and it's hurting a lot of people. And I think we're making it worse, not better. Or I should say, we're making it better for some and worse for others. And I won't go too deep into that, but I think we all want to see a future that is bright, that has room for everyone. And I'm not just talking about the country, I'm talking about the world, where there's no more poverty, where there's no more hunger, where there's no more starvation. And, you know, on a Christian perspective, it said the poor will be with you always. But even though that's true, we can raise the standard of what poverty is, right? Imagine poverty going from a standard of people being destitute in the street, drinking poor water and digging through trash, to poor being everybody having a simple shelter with food, with healthy food, clean water. And everybody else, if you want a higher standard of living, you find a way to contribute and you build on that. We don't have to maintain the same level of poverty. We don't have to ship people off to, like prisons or whatever because they're homeless. I think there was a video clip, I don't remember the show, where it said we used to wage war on poverty, not poor people. And I think we've lost a lot of our humanity. And I think it's largely because we're no longer informed the way we used to be informed. We have this wave of ignorance that's running through the country. And I don't mean ignorance as people being stupid or smart or unable to learn. I mean ignorance in the truest sense of people being uneducated, as they're and we're seeing this escalation on the war of on a war on education. They don't want people, the quote unquote elites, whoever they are for you, don't want people to be educated. They don't want them to be informed. They don't want them to be critical thinkers, because they're easier controlled. Now, I am politically unaffiliated. I have no loyalty to one party or another, and I usually side with what I think is the best idea, that serves in the best interest of everyone else, or in the best interest of everyone. So sometimes I agree with Republicans, sometimes I agree with Democrats. Every once in a while, I even agree with Trump. Some of the things that he's doing, I disagree with others. So my basis is not what's expedient or politically right for me or group, but what's in the best interest of the country. What's in the best interest of the country and the people. So, for example, One of the things I agree with Trump with is his mandate that corporations no longer buy single family homes because it's driving up the cost. And he said it, and he said it well. People live in homes, not corporations. I 100% agree with that. And I think it's something that needs to be done. But there are other things he does that I disagree with. So for me, it's the deciding factor is that I try to be informed and I try to make decisions based on what's on the best interest for everybody else, myself included, my friends, my family, my city, my county, my state, my country, and I try to look at the impacts. And I think if we were all really serious about being better human beings to each other, we would look to be informed and get rid of some of our negative biases. And that's the whole thing behind what I'm building, or I should say what I've built, because it's already deployed and going into beta on January 15th. And, I'm really excited to see where it goes because, as far as I can tell, nobody else is doing what I'm doing right now with AI. And I can tell you that with some of the conversations I've had with it, it is very, very deep and very, very informative. For example, me making these videos, I would have never made these videos on my own. It actually helped me determine that the thing that would benefit me and my business most is for me to actually get out of my own head and start having a discourse with the public. Let my ideas meet the public and see what comes back and see what type of feedback I get with and adjust from that. So I started doing that. And what's next for me, now that I've kind of introduced my philosophy, is I want to show everybody what it actually does. So I'm going to start publishing some case studies of the chats that I'm having with it. Because to the rest of the world, I understand it's just a chat interface. You go to the site, and it's just a chat box, and you talk and you onboard, and then what? But when you start seeing the conversations, like the substance of the conversations, it's really something else, because you get the sense that you're talking to a mind, that you're talking to an intelligence, and you're not just talking to some fancy search and retrieval. There's this saying that it's true. The better the query, the better the response. Well, this thing, it has context. It remembers you. It knows who it knows who it is. It knows who it's talking to. In a digital sense, I'm not trying to anthropomorphize that. I just butchered that word. Anthropomorphize. Anthropomorphize. I'm butchering the word, and I'll think about it the moment I turn this video off. But yeah, a couple times now I was speaking to it, and I forgot I was speaking to AI because the conversations are deep. It's interesting. It's giving its opinion. It's remembering context. It's remembering the topic. It's not making stuff up. It's not, hallucinating and just mimicking me and being friendly and nice. So it even resists me sometimes when I say something wrong, and it'll push back, and I say, well, let's go a different direction. So even as I think rudimentary as it is, I think it's actually more advanced than a lot of stuff that's out there right now. I think it's pretty cool, and I can't wait to see the effect it has on others. The the beta is January 15th, and I think I'm going to make a general one for a conversation and just give it access to certain information so people can see it for themselves. So, I hope you guys are looking forward to the case studies that I'm getting ready to post. I may make some of them video as well, just because it's easy to digest. All right, so have a good rest of your week, everybody. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Later.